All right, let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we're unpacking a genuinely fascinating and, honestly, quite urgent strategy piece from the digital creative agency MoonRaker. They recently published this deep dive analysis on a massive, silent shift happening right now in how the internet consumes your business expertise. Think about it. If you've spent years building up your website, writing case studies, and pouring your hard-earned knowledge online, the fundamental rules of how people access that content are literally changing right under our feet. We're going to break down exactly what's happening, why the old rules of the internet are breaking, and what you can strategically do about it.
We're starting off with what is probably the most critical question facing anyone with a website today. Should you actively block AI from reading your site? For the longest time, the ultimate goal was to let every crawler in, right? You want it to be as visible as humanly possible. But MoonRaker poses a very different thought experiment. If AI has already read everything on your site and is now answering customer questions directly instead of sending those people to you, what exactly are you getting in return?
To really grasp why this is happening, picture this user journey. A potential client is looking for the best hotel in your city, or maybe they need a top digital agency or a reliable solicitor. But instead of typing that into a traditional search engine, they just pop open ChatGPT, Claude, or Gemini. They just have a conversation and describe exactly what they need. Meanwhile, the AI reads a dozen websites in the background, including yours, and then delivers a highly considered recommendation.
Now here's the kicker. Maybe that AI picks you, or maybe it doesn't. But either way, that potential client, they never actually visited your website. For service businesses where trust, nuance, and your unique personality are literally the things that convert casual browsers into paying clients, this is a massive disruption. And as the source bluntly points out, this AI-powered search isn't some distant sci-fi future we're preparing for. It's Tuesday. It's happening right now, acting as the default for a whole new generation of internet users.
Section 1. The broken SEO deal. Let's see how this builds into a major paradigm shift and rewrites the core social contract of the web. For the last 2 decades, traditional SEO was basically a fair trade, right? The deal was super simple. You publish high-quality content, Google indexes it, and in return, they send people directly to your site. You got traffic and revenue, Google got data to improve search, everyone won. But with AI search, that deal is completely shattered. AI systems don't just index your content to point users toward it. They read it, they synthesize it, and they answer the questions directly. You do the work, the AI gets smarter, and you get absolutely nothing.
MoonRaker actually frames this perfectly. They wrote, "The AI didn't just bypass your website, it consumed your expertise, synthesized your positioning, and handed it to a stranger, free of charge, with no referral, no click, no conversion." Just think about that for a second. Your years of carefully crafted copy, your tone of voice, your hard-won industry insights, it all just becomes free training data for a machine. Which leads us straight into Section 2, the leeching problem, where the flow of value essentially becomes a one-way street. So the crucial thing to understand here is this new one-way dynamic. AI crawlers harvest your hard-earned knowledge to answer questions for people who probably would have just reached out to you directly. The source defines this as extraction, and they make a really sharp observation here. This exact behavior used to be called scraping, and it was widely considered seriously bad behavior. Today, well, it's just been rebranded into a multi-billion-dollar industry. Let's break down the practical risks to your business. First off, 0 visits means 0 analytics data and absolutely no chance to build a real relationship. Second, the AI might extract your genius insights but then turn around and recommend a competitor. Crazy, right? Third, your pricing and unique processes are suddenly just public intelligence with 0 commercial return for you. Fourth, and this is a big one, you're essentially training the very models that now act as gatekeepers between you and your clients. And lastly, what if the AI's summary of your business is outdated or just subtly wrong? You have no way to fix it. Even if it says something nice, you get no email capture and no chance to show off the brand personality that actually wins the work. But hey, you aren't powerless here. Let's shift gears to Section 3, reclaiming control with robots.txt. Let's talk about how to actually stop this extraction. The really good news is that taking control is surprisingly straightforward. It all boils down to a simple file on your website called robots.txt. This acts as your absolute first line of defense. We are literally talking about just a few lines of code standing between your content and the infinite harvest. To show you how actionable this is, MoonRaker outlines the major AI companies and the specific names of their web crawlers. You've got OpenAI with GPTbot, Anthropic with Claudebot, Google using Google Extended, and Common Crawl. The great thing is, most of these big players publish the names of their crawlers, and as of right now, they will actually respect a disallow instruction if you just drop it into that robots.txt file.
Now, MoonRaker makes a point to emphasize something important. Choosing to block these bots, it isn't about being technologically naive or commercially paranoid. It is a legitimate, strategic business decision. Sure, some businesses that just need broad ambient awareness might decide the exposure is worth it. But for service businesses where relationships win the work and your differentiation lives in how you communicate, making a deliberate choice to protect your content is honestly just smart business.
As we wrap up this explainer, we arrive at Section 4, Redefining the Fair Exchange. Time to look past the technical stuff and focus on the fundamental philosophy of how the internet is supposed to work.
The entire architecture of the web was built on reciprocity. Links, citations, referrals. The basic assumption was that if a platform benefited from your content, you'd get a return signal. You'd get traffic, a backlink, or at the very least, some clear attribution. But the current AI boom, it completely breaks that underlying assumption. AI companies are building enormously profitable products on the backs of content created by others, and right now there is simply no fair exchange happening.
Which leads us to our final core takeaway. Until there's a meaningful commercial arrangement, or at least a reliable citation mechanism that actually drives real referrals, we have to leave you with this provocative strategic question. If you are going to allow AI to read your site, do it deliberately, not by default. Know exactly what you're giving away, and really ask yourself, what are you actually getting back?